Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Friday. That means we're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Hope that work week is in the rearview mirror. If it's not, we'll get you to the finish line. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, and we've got plenty for you over the next couple of hours. Preston Guy talking Tiger football coming up in 15 minutes as he is every single Friday. Got more football talk coming up in 1 hour. JD Picquel with us every single week during football season. Spring football kind of in the rearview mirror. JD's still talking about it over there on 3, so we'll talk to JD in an hour. He wrote a story, well, he didn't write, he talked and put a video out the other day about SEC football quarterback rooms and put LSU's first in the conference. So we'll talk to JD about his confidence in LSU's quarterbacks moving forward. Basketball may be closing in on its next edition, and it is a interesting one that we'll talk about in hour number 2. The Saints undrafted free agents is not something we've tapped into yet, so I'll get into some of that coming up in 30 minutes. We've got a lot to cover. We'll start right now with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
You know, I should be used to this because I've done it for 5 months straight, so I should be used to it. I'm really not. I'm not used to the fact that we've gotten to the 3-quarter mark, the home stretch in a season, and a lot of you are kind of twiddling your thumbs going, yeah, but who really cares? And I understand. Like, this is the first time since the mid-'70s, that LSU is going to finish with an under 500 conference record in football, men's basketball, and baseball. And like y'all know, my favorite thing to do on this show, my favorite thing to do on the air, my favorite thing to dive into and to present to y'all is stuff that happens on the field. Yes, I'm going to cover stuff that happens on Capitol Hill that matters because we have to. I don't love it. Yes, I'm going to cover recruiting because we have to. I don't necessarily love it. Yeah, we're going to cover legal stories that happen, coaching searches. I don't necessarily love it. I like the games. The games is what matters to me. And unfortunately, LSU, midway through its football season, a highly anticipated football season, fired the football coach. The games took on a lot less importance. The men's basketball team was completely out of the picture by the end of January. There were 2 months to play. The baseball team has lost 9 in a row and is on track for its worst season in a very, very, very long time. And so the games at the end of these seasons have felt extremely insignificant. And I still am going to talk about them because we cover the team. Like, I can sit here and do a show that previews the Major League Baseball weekend to come. I can sit here and talk about what they're doing with the 5 for 5 on Capitol Hill. I can try to force that in here, but like, I don't really care. I want to talk about the baseball team. So I'm going to talk about the baseball team, but I understand that you are where you are, most of you, with this team. Like, they've got to win 7 of their last 9, and they haven't won since Easter. I don't know anybody that's confident they're going to do that. Like, I get it, but you're playing the second worst team in the league. Yes, I think LSU is better than South Carolina. You got a chance to go win some games, so we'll talk about it with the understanding that, does it look rosy? Does it look like there's a lot to play for? Not from the outside. And this South Carolina team is not very good. And if you haven't gotten the news, I guess I should lead with the fact that LSU and South Carolina are not playing tonight. You may have just gotten out of lunch or gotten off work and now realizing that LSU and South Carolina aren't playing. They got a doubleheader tomorrow, 1 o'clock and 6:30. The game on Sunday is going to be played as scheduled. But tomorrow, doubleheader between LSU and South Carolina. Forecast is not very good for this evening, and that postponement was inevitable, it felt like, as of yesterday afternoon. But what it does is it puts some pressure on the starting pitchers in game 1 of this series. because you have to play 18 innings tomorrow. And if LSU gets what it got out of William Schmidt last week, you're going to have to get 14 innings in a day out of your bullpen. That's not ideal. I'm counting Marcos Paz as a bullpen guy because he's been a bullpen guy. So if you get 4 from William Schmidt, you got 14 more to cover. And South Carolina does not have a great pitching staff. They have a pretty good number one starter. Amp Phillips is their number one starter. He's going to get the ball in the first game tomorrow. And listen to some of the performances he's had this year. They're very good. Against Florida, 6 innings, no earned runs. Against Arkansas, 7 innings, 1 earned run. Against Georgia, maybe the best offense in the country, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. Against Texas, been number 1, number 2 for a lot of the year. 4 2/3, 1 earned run. Missouri, they're terrible, but 8 innings of scoreless baseball plays. And that's what he gave him. Over those 5 starts, Florida, Arkansas, Georgia, and Texas and Missouri, that's a 23 2/3 inning stretch of 5 earned runs. That's an ERA under 2. Good stuff. Now, in the last 2 weeks, Mississippi State, 4 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. And then against Kentucky, who's not any good offensively at all, 1 1/3, 5 earned runs. So his last 2 starts have not been nearly what they had been. He's your traditional big fastball, hard breaking ball starter. He's pretty good. But LSU faced 3 good starters last week and lit them up. And if LSU can get to Amp Phillips in the first game, you set yourself up for the weekend to be just fine offensively. It doesn't appear that it's going to be quite as good a weekend to hit at Alex Bach this weekend as it was in Starkville last weekend. I was there. There was a breeze blowing out. It was very warm. The ball was jumping. You saw a lot of home runs last weekend if you were watching the games. I don't think you'll see that at the box this weekend. The forecast is for the wind out of the north. Temperatures are going to be chillier tomorrow than they have been. Not cool, but it's May. Like, not going to be cool, but it's not going to be 91 with the wind coming out of the south. So these 2 pitchers, Schmidt, who's been okay this year, just hasn't eaten innings, and Phillips have the obligation tomorrow to get deep into that baseball game. If one of those guys goes 6 innings, 6 2/3 innings, advantage to that team in that game, and advantage to that team moving forward. South Carolina's number 2 is Brandon Stone. Brandon Stone is a pretty average starting pitcher in the Southeastern Conference. He throws a ton of 2-seamers. He's trying to get ground balls. And sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't. He's given up 5 home runs in his last 11 1/3 innings because the sinker hasn't sunk. He's thrown it up there flat. It's gotten elevated. Guys have teed off on it. Doesn't have huge velocity. He's a big dude. He's not going to throw 98 miles an hour. He doesn't have a great breaking ball. He's trying to get you to beat it into the ground and get through innings. It's very rare that an SEC starting pitcher has more innings pitched than strikeouts. That's rare in an SEC pitcher. And Stone has 55 innings, only 52 strikeouts on the year. That tells you, like, he's not up there to try to get guys to strike out. So tomorrow, in the first game at 1 o'clock, it's really a matchup of Phillips and Schmidt, who can last longer by hanging 0s and 1s on the board. Because beyond that, these teams are a little bit compromised. LSU's got more talent. South Carolina's probably got guys who have performed a little bit more consistently this year. LSU just got guys that are way up and way down. Callan threw a lot on Tuesday. This probably allows him to be available on Saturday in Game 1 as opposed to holding him for Game 2 on Saturday, right? Like, if he throws as many pitches as he did on Tuesday, you don't feel great about him coming back with just 2 days off on Friday. I think he'll probably be ready to go on Saturday. The story that Jay Johnson told earlier this year indicates that. Callan, I don't remember what week it was, candidly. I can probably look it up. But I remember the story because Jay Johnson told it in a press conference afterward. I'll look this up as I'm telling the story. But Callan was used significantly in an early weekend game. And it looked like the bullpen was unraveling a little bit. And Jay Johnson was kind of searching for answers. And Callan went to him and said, I'm going to get ready. And that just indicates to me that that's a guy who wants the baseball, wants to pitch, and wants to help. It may have been Tennessee where he threw 67 pitches. It may have been Kentucky where he threw 54, and that was a crazy back and forth. I think it was Kentucky where he threw 54 pitches, and he was ready to come back the next day. Zach Cowan doesn't have a huge professional future. His most impactful baseball is probably in Omaha last year, but it's right now. So I don't think with 3 days off, you're going to keep him off the mound. He threw 73 pitches on Tuesday. You give him Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. I think he will be able to go 2 innings on Saturday at any point if you need him. And that's a help to LSU because you got to play 18 innings. You need Zach Cowan in that spot. So those 2 starting pitchers are talented for LSU and South Carolina in game 1. It's a crapshoot after that. So both of these teams need all 3 games. Like, let's just be real. If we're just playing out the string, that's fine. But then what are we even talking about? If you're trying to do something impactful over the last 3 weeks, both of these teams have to win all 3 games. And that's unlikely because neither team has shown the consistency to do that outside of South Carolina against Missouri a few weeks ago. But that's the order. And if LSU wins all 3 games this weekend, I'll break down their resume for you. Right now, I'm not. I'm not giving you RPI numbers. I'm not giving you quad 1 numbers. I'm not giving you no. You got to go beat South Carolina 3 times. You had to go beat South Carolina 3 times when you were 6-6 in the league. You certainly have to go beat them 3 times now that you're 6-15 in the league. Just is what it is. So those 2 teams will get underway at 1:00 on Saturday. You'll see 2 talented right-handers on the mound, and we'll see where the weekend goes from there. LSU needs to swing the bats. South Carolina doesn't really swing the bats. We'll talk about that later on in the show. This is the worst offense in the Southeastern Conference coming here to Baton Rouge. They've popped up here and there for 1 game in a weekend, and that's carried them to some wins. But for the duration of the year, they're really bad offensively. So LSU staff should do a better job. If you can hold Texas A&M down in spots, you can smother South Carolina, but it's just a matter of throwing strikes and getting that done. So we'll talk about it a little bit later on in the show. Our Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Still time to get on by there and grab a late lunch. They're on Government between Foster and Jefferson. Check out the menu online at corksfishandshrimp.com. Step aside, come back, talk some football with Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. That is next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gotros Outdoor Power. Gotros Outdoor Power. May not be a great weekend to mow the grass if it's going to rain all weekend, but you realize that grass is going to grow from now through Halloween. So if you need a new zero-turn mower, Gotros Outdoor Power needs to be your stop. There are 2 locations you can check out. Airline Highway here in Baton Rouge and, of course, in Gonzales. The Gotros have been at this for 22 years, family-owned and operated for those 22 years. That does not mean they're small. Largest hustler dealer in the state, largest parts inventory in the state, and the customer service sets them apart. If you need a new zero-turn but you don't have a trailer, you can purchase it from Gotros Outdoor Power. They'll get it to you. They got trucks on the road for 8 hours a day, every day. You need parts? They can help you with that. The customer service from a family-owned and operated business is the separator, and Gotros Outdoor Power can do that for you. Keep in mind they're open 6 days a week. That includes Saturday for a half day. So if you want to get by tomorrow at Airline Highway or in Gonzales and see that incredible hustler inventory, you can certainly do that for a half a day tomorrow. They can get you behind the wheel for less than $100 a month over at Gotros Outdoor Power. Find them online at GotrosOnline.com.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Talk to JD Picquel from On 3 coming up in 45 minutes. More LSU baseball at the end of the hour. Some Saints talk coming up in 15 minutes. Look at the undrafted free agents, which we have not done this week. Right now, we're turning our attention to LSU football. Preston Guy, TigerBait.com, with us every single Friday. He joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Preston, how are you?
All right, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
It's going well. It's our pleasure. Let's talk defense. We spent a lot of time on the offensive side of the ball the last couple of weeks. I'm curious your thoughts on LSU's pass rush, specifically off the edge. That's a spot that really never produced over the course of last season. I would suggest the play was solid, but not massively productive and game-changing. Do you think that changes in 2026?
Well, with the money you invested in Prince Umami-Mellon, you would hope so, but I mean, you are going to be missing Gabriel Relaford, who is going to be your starting defensive end. And we don't know when he'll be back with his Achilles tear. I would assume it'd be something where he will miss the entire season, or at least not be 100% for the entire season, but we'll see. Jordan Ross, the transfer from Tennessee. Now, remember, Jordan Ross was 5-star, highly rated, top edge rusher in the country when he signed with Tennessee, but he hadn't really done much at Tennessee. Well, he seems to be developing and coming into his own. We've seen a couple practices here or there. I mean, I think I charted 112 plays. There were 5 sacks that day. Not all from the defensive edge rushers either. They haven't too much of an elite pass rush on paper, but I do think those quarterbacks are having to run a good bit. And frankly, I think we all know that a lot of times in practice, they're not whistling the quarterback and his no-contact jersey down when the hand is on him. And, nobody wants to get kicked off the team because they whack the quarterback a little too hard. So I think those numbers might be a little, deflated. So that will be an interesting thing to see, specifically asking about the pass rush. I do think the defensive line against the run has been very strong. It's just the pass rush. It'll have to be a to-be-determined situation.
Dylan Carpenter is still with the program. He's been here a long time. I wrote his number down quite a few times at practice over the course of the last 4 weeks. And then, of course, Lamar Brown is going to join the fold at some point in the summer. So, how do you feel about what's behind Umami-Mellon and Ross, with those two, I think, probably leading the way?
Well, you have to hope that Lamar Brown, you got 3 very, very highly recruited, 4 if you count Trenton Henderson, defensive linemen on this team. Rich Anderson looks the part. Deuce Gerald looks better than he was evaluated at. You have to hope Lamar Brown coming in fall ball will look the same way, right? Now, those guys are going to have an upper hand, being that they were here for spring and Lamar Brown was not. We'll see. And, of course, this is Dylan Carpenter's Tarzan or Jane year. You know, he definitely looks the part. Hasn't quite shown up on the field yet. This will be his third year in the program, and it's kind of a defining year for these guys. Sometimes these guys have years like Daniil Hunter, where they pop off and have a good year, and then they go on to have a better NFL careers. And sometimes these guys don't pan out, and they have to hit the portal or find a better opportunity. So it will be very eye-opening. I'm not saying Dylan Carpenter has to start, but does he give you some productive reps? Because this is a position where you're going to rotate guys in and out situationally, and you really want fresh legs in this position. So, I mean, there's going to be 4 or 5 guys with an opportunity to contribute, and, you know, Gabriel Relaford's injury leaves that door wide open. So big year for Dylan Carpenter.
Let's talk about Deuce Gerald. You mentioned him. A lot of folks have talked about him. What's your expectation for him in his first year in college football?
Man, I mean, he looks really good out there. I will temper the expectations just simply because it's very rare that a true freshman comes out at defensive tackle or really any position in the trenches and is a, you know, quality starter, right? So, you know, you've got some veterans there. You do have Don McKinley there. You've got Stephylan Green there. And, you know, these guys, they're guys who are there and who have been quality players. They're not necessarily dominating. They're not all conference type talent, at least not yet, right? So there is an opportunity to steal some reps from those guys. Then you have to consider not only does Deuce Gerald have those veteran guys that he has to compete with, he's got Big Rich Anderson right next to him. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of situations where, hey, we need a young guy to come in and give us some quality reps. Well, I mean, which one of those two are you going to look at? Because it's really hard to tell which one's better so far.
I'm curious how you feel about who will start there. I mean, McKinley's obviously in the mix. Stephylan Green they bring in from Clemson, Malik Blockton from Auburn. Like, do you have a lead 2 at that spot on the interior defensive line?
Yeah, they've done a lot of rotating in that spot. I mean, Malik Blockton seems to be the one that doesn't come off the field very often. I would guess him and McKinley, but I mean, Hunt, that's another spot that it's going to be open. Stephylan Green was a guy we all kind of had on paper as penciling him as a starter. I'm not so sure that's the case there. Don't forget about Sean Washington there, who, you know, is a 5th-year senior. You know, so, you know, I think he's going to be more of a depth piece, but he's also going to be competing for that as well.
Is there a spot on the entire roster with a floor as high as linebacker?
With a floor as high as linebacker.
Keys, Daughtery, Weeks. I mean, they've all finished in the top 2 in the SEC in tackles over the last 2 years.
Yeah, and then all those young guys who showed, you know, such flash, you know. So, I mean, you got both Weeks brothers on the team. You know, you got Keelan Moses, who I'm very high on. I mean, there's just a lot. Yeah, it's a very deep and quality position. It's kind of like, how do you stack up quarterback against that? Because I actually feel really good about Husan Longstreet if you have to turn to him. So you've got Levitt and Longstreet there. I feel really, really good about those 2 guys. And then Landon Clark in a doomsday scenario, wouldn't feel bad turning to him as your 3 either. So that quarterback spot might have a pretty high floor as well. But that's such a weird position group to compare to each other, because that linebacker, you're going to have, you know, 2 to 4 guys on the field, and quarterback, it's going to be one guy no matter what. So very, very tough comparison. But those are the 2 I would pick on each side of the ball.
Are you okay with the depth at cornerback?
I'd like to see some guys emerge at corner. I think that your top 2 have been good. I didn't like seeing Abe Manning going down. I was really encouraged by what we were seeing out of him. Michael Turner has actually made a few plays here and there, and Jakeem Jackson looks like your nickel right now. I don't think you're in an awful spot. Also, Haven Finney, as a true freshman, has looked pretty good out there. I don't think you're in an awful spot. I think you've got 2 bona fide starting quality corners. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the mix for among the best corner tandems in the SEC this year. But after that, yeah, I really wish there was a little more depth behind them.
Who has a better chance to be a first-team All-SEC player, DJ Pickett or Ty Benefield?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I am going to go Pickett. I am going to go Pickett because, I mean, as we've seen with corners, they will give you a lot of love at corner for a quieter season, where Stenfield, I feel like at safety, is going to have to make that noise, not to mention there's a lot of hype around DJ Pickett being a 5-star recruit and, putting out the tape. He put a lot, and there's going to be a lot of eyes glued on DJ Pickett, not to mention just being a 6'5", so just the media hype buzz around him. I'm not saying there's no buzz around Ty Benefield. We're talking about the number 2 rated safety out of the portal this year. So, no, he's no slum in terms of hype. But I think DJ Pickett might have the slightly better eye.
What do you think Deshaun Spears' role is on this defense?
He's going to have to be all over the field, man. I think he's going to be primarily, I don't think they're going to put him at star, but I do think they're going to use him at the other 2 safety spots quite a bit. I think he's going to have to be the veteran presence. I do think he's set up for a good year here.
LSU defensively last year was 5th or 6th in scoring and total defense. I can't remember which one it is, but it's one's 5th, one's 6th. Do you expect that to be better in 2026?
Yeah, you would hope that I think they kind of did those strides where nationally they're a top 25 defense or so last year, right? I think this year you're really hoping that this defense is going to be top 15, top 10 type caliber unit, one that's going to go out there and win you a lot of games, especially offensively. There's just a lot of identity issues. I do believe a Lane Kiffin offense, you're not going to go a year where it's just not great for an entire stretch of time, right? But I could see a lot of growing pains in this. I mean, think about it, 12 new receivers, right? Sam Levitt hasn't – I think he did – just recently at the end of spring, he did 7-on-7 for the first time, right? And he has no 11-on-11 experience at all with these guys. So how's his chemistry? How's his injury going to heal? Are you going to have, is he going to be fully there and ready to go? Or are they going to have to flirt around with Hassan Longstreet a little bit? So while you're going through some identity issues with this offense, it'd be really nice if you had that defense that could take an even further step forward than it did last year. Last year, the defense was very good, and it did win them some games. It won them Clemson, for instance. In fact, there's an argument that every game they won was won by the defense because they didn't score 25 points in any Division I football game in the regular season. But, you would hope that maybe there's other games that, like Texas A&M, hopefully you don't see a collapse at the end of the game like you saw defensively against Texas A&M.
Yeah, had 5 interceptions against Florida. I'd probably put that one in their ledger as well.
Yeah.
So that's
10 offensive points, I think.
Yeah, so not great, but that's all right. They won the game. If they are a top 10 defense under Blake Baker this year, LSU's gonna have a lot of wins on the left side of that record. So we shall see. Preston, we'll talk next week. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on.
Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Get on by, get a po' boy, jumbo Gulf Shrimp po' boy, crispy fried catfish po' boy, all those crispy shoestring fries as well. Check out the whole menu online at corksfishandshrimp.com. We'll come back. Saints signed 10 undrafted free agents. I've got a spotlight on a couple that I think have a chance to make their presence known. Make the roster, make the practice squad. We'll see. Make their presence known. We'll talk about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com. That's where you can find the entire inventory at FabryChevrolet.com. You can also find it on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Incredible, incredible customer service, incredible buying experience, and wonderful service after the sale. That's what the Fabry family's been doing since they came into business. They've been doing this for almost 4 decades now. That's how they built their reputation in this town, and that's why you trust them. So go up to St. Francisville, Highway 61, and take a look at that inventory. Take a test drive. Get behind the wheel of a new Chevy Silverado or a GMC Sierra. Need a new truck? You can get up to $11,000 off MSRP on a Silverado. Looking for a new SUV for your family road trip? Chevy Tahoes, GMC Yukons. They've got them there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Start your buying process online at FabryChevrolet.com and make that quick drive to St. Francisville to see them. They're on Highway 61. They're thrilled to see you. You can go by and see you tomorrow as well, open on Saturdays. Fabry Chevrolet, GMC, FabryChevrolet.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
We'll chat with our guy, JD Picquel from the Hard Count on 3 Sports in half an hour. He's high on LSU's quarterbacks. I'll ask him why. I also want to talk to him about Alabama extending Kalen DeBoer. I want to talk to him about what's going on in Oxford, Mississippi. So a lot of things I want to talk to JD about on the college football front. We'll do that at the top of hour number 2, straight up 2 o'clock. Right now, let me tell you about Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is the website. Their core values are customer service, quality, and integrity, and they take a ton of pride in setting themselves apart from other companies by being involved in the community, as well as doing multiple roof giveaways. They do a BCA awareness giveaway, a military giveaway every single year to those in need in the community. They understand that a lot of times, not every time, not all the time, but a lot of times when someone needs a roof, it's in times of need. If there's a significant weather event, whether that's a tornado, whether that's a winter storm, whether that's obviously a hurricane, those can really be damaging to some people's not only homes but lives. You don't want to trust some fly-by-night roofer who flies in here, gets you a new roof, signs you up, and bails. Go with a company that's invested in the community. And Lifetime Roofing is invested in the community because the owners and operators of Lifetime Roofing are from South Louisiana, from Baton Rouge. The business is based here in Baton Rouge. You can see their gorgeous new facility right off College Drive. They've got a growing team based right here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out all the way from the North Shore over to the southwest corner of Louisiana. Happy to do that. It's Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com. Understand that they've got financing available 0% up to 18 months, as well as a lifetime workmanship warranty. So when you're looking for a new roof, whether that's in the retail market, looking to just put one on maybe before you move, or because you just know you need one, or because you've had a loss and need to go ahead and get a new roof put on, Lifetime Roofing, happy to do it with that lifetime workmanship warranty. All right, the Saints put the NFL draft in the rearview mirror back on Saturday, and you understand that those are the most likely newcomers to make an impact. It ranges from the front to the back, and those are the most likely impact players on the Saints roster. You also have the undrafted free agent portion of this thing, which is not the most interesting thing to talk about on the front end, obviously, because a lot of times you've never heard of these guys, and the odds of each individual one making the team is not very good. But oftentimes, you find one or two in the offseason that can make your team better. In the NFL, with the roster limitations you have and the significant injury issues that every single team has to deal with, every single spot on the active roster and the practice squad has its share of importance. Like, the guys I'm about to talk about are not as important as Tyler Shuck. They're not as important as Kelvin Banks. They're not as important as Chase Young. But they might help the team. And so it's interesting to, with realistic expectations, dive into what the Saints prioritized in the undrafted free agent ranks. It's a deal where you look at it based on measurables, based on position, and then the status of things on the Saints roster. C.J. Donaldson is one of the guys I'm looking at here. They brought him in from Ohio State. He is a big back. He's 6'1" and 230 pounds. That is a wide load. He also was pretty productive. He played in 42 games, started 16 at West Virginia and Ohio State combined. He ran for 2,000 yards in Power 4 football on 4.6 yards per carry. He had 40 rushing touchdowns, also caught the ball 40 times, and had 2 receiving touchdowns. He's from Miami. He led all Ohio State rushers in rushing touchdowns, was second on the team in rushing yards, and went undrafted. This is a guy who comes from a program they trust. It's not at a position of need, which gives me pause about this because you've got a lot of dudes there. You just signed and invested heavily in Travis Etienne. You've got Kamara still on the roster. You've got Neal, obviously. You've got Kendre Miller, obviously. And then you also have Ultra Estime. So, like, this is not a position of need. But it's a position where guys get hurt. Kendre Miller's always hurt. Kamara may not be on the team. So you could see over the course of the next 3 months how circumstances could change, and C.J. Donaldson could be a player of need. I like the pedigree on him and think it's an interesting guy to just keep an eye on. Alan Herron is a 6'5" offensive lineman, just over 308 pounds, from Maryland. And his story is very interesting. He was born in Jamaica. He moved to the United States as a young person. He was a baseball player and then played football at this high school in Georgia. And he ended up going to a Division II school called Shorter University. And he played some football, kind of figured some things out. He's obviously a very, very good athlete. And Maryland got eyes on him, and Maryland brought him in. So I looked at his Pro Football Focus grades. And one thing really stood out to me. When you consider this is a young man who is new to football, is a little bit undersized for an NFL offensive lineman, but does have good size at 6'5", 305. And his pass blocking grade in the Big Ten this past season was 80.3. That's a loud number. Like, nobody at LSU even approached that last year. Now, that was a bad offensive line, but that's a high grade for a guy that's just figuring out football. So, no, I don't think that Alan Herron is about to step in and take Taliese Fuaga's job. But what do we know about the last 3 years on this Saints offensive line? They get hurt. You can never have enough of these guys. And I knew the Saints would go offensive line in the draft, and they did. They went to Auburn, get a big physical guard, potentially can challenge Ruiz over time. Great. That's a great investment in a draft pick. We did not think they would go offensive line in round 1. I did not in round 2. From round 3 through round 6 where they had a pick and then they traded back in round 7, I figured at some point Mickey's got to go offensive line, and he did, and I'm good with that. This is an interesting one. Probably, at best, a practice squad addition, but one that's got intriguing upside, and so I kind of like that pick as well. Then, where's a position we thought the Saints would go early in the draft that they didn't? edge rusher. Now, you make a trade for an edge rusher, and I like that, and that adds to Granderson, it adds to Young, and you bring in a big talent that needs to change the scenery from Las Vegas, and I get the whole thing there. But go get a guy that's been pretty productive at college and see if you can't find something. And Michael Heldman might fit that mold. He's from Central Michigan, 6'3", 270-ish pounds. He played for 5 years at Central Michigan, so this is a guy that's old and mature. He had 42 starts. He made 120 tackles, had 19 college sacks, and 34.5 tackles for loss. He also was credited with 29 hurries and 4 forced fumbles. So this is a guy at a lower level in the MAC that produced. Does that translate? I would guess, my bet, no. But it's a position where you can change games, and bringing one into your camp is certainly not going to hurt. I was vocal about this early in the draft, so I'm not going to be hypocritical about it. I find it to be a more reliable way to find a game-changing edge rusher, even a situational edge rusher, very early in the draft. I think you're more likely to find a wide receiver later that can really help than an edge rusher, because this is just a simple fact. There are way more 6'2", 180 fast people than there are 6'3", 260 can move people. It just is. So I thought Bain was the pick in the first round. They decided to go to wide receiver. So you've got to find edge rusher elsewhere. Now, they found one of those early draft freaks that hasn't panned out in the trade market, but you do bring in one here in undrafted free agency in Michael Heldman, and, see if it works. See if that's a guy that can come in and help. They did go get a couple of corners. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you're bringing in guys in the defensive backfield because I think you do need help there. You go get Deshaun Jones from Alabama and then Jeremiah McClendon from Southern Illinois. One thing I noticed about both guys, they're both 6 feet tall. They're longer guys. One comes from the higher level. The other comes from the lower level, but you bring those two guys in to potentially help. Then you go get Keyshawn Silver, defensive tackle from USC, who was not very productive at North Carolina, Kentucky, and USC. Had 2 sacks over the course of 43 games. But he also, had 7 stops for loss. Just not a super productive dude, but a big body from a big conference, 3 of them, in fact, ACC, SEC, and Big Ten. You get Mason Shipley as a kicker from Texas. I'm fine with bringing a kicker in to see what he can do. A familiar name to those in this market, at least, JVR Suggs, who is from Grand Valley State and then LSU and then Wisconsin. You bring him in. Suggs was a reliable player at LSU, not necessarily a game-changing player, but he was out there a lot for the Tigers when they were really hurting at defensive line a couple of years ago. And then you bring in another offensive tackle in Alex Wolschlager from Kentucky, 6'7", 310, and you just can't have enough big bodies. I think that there's the more intriguing prospect, as we talked about there, is Alan Herron, but I think that just bringing in a guy that played in the Southeastern Conference is a reasonable thing to do. Played 830 snaps in 12 starts for Kentucky last year, so that's a guy that's got measurables, 6'7", 310, and played in the Southeastern Conference. All these kind of make sense from a positional need, except running back, where you bring in probably the biggest name of the lot. But I personally think that there's a chance that Alan Herron can make this practice squad, can join the roster, can be somebody the Saints develop as a guy that can be a supplemental piece, probably as a reserve, but we know you need those. Probably more so than any position on the field. You need reserve offensive linemen. And so it's good that the Saints went out and got some of those. I have my expectations tempered for any and all these guys. It would not be surprising if all of them got cut but one. Like, that's just the way that UDFAs go. But I think that some of these make some sense, and we'll certainly track them through rookie mini camps, through OTAs, and in a training camp as guys to kind of keep an eye on there. So that's a look at the Saints UDFAs for 2026. All right, second time out. We're going to talk about South Carolina's bats pretty quickly to end the hour. It's a positive thing for LSU because they're not very good at all. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love telling you about Marucci. Go become a member at Marucci. It's something you can do for your youth baseball player or youth softball player that's just eaten up with it and wants to practice, wants to get better. If you become a member at Marucci, you get key card access to the hitter's house, and that means 24/7 access. You got a key card before school, right after school, after dinner, on the weekends. Great time for your youth athlete to get in there and take some hacks. Marucci would love to have you. They also love to have you taking a tour to learn where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball. Stop on by, take that tour. You can take an individual tour. You can take a family tour. You can take a team tour. Your team's kind of wrapping up in your youth baseball coming up here in the next month. You want to do a year-end party? Go take a tour of Marucci, where they send the bats to the best players in the world. Every single ticket comes with a 20% discount in the campus tour store, as well as the Hitter's House. Check them out online at maruccisports.com, maruccisports.com.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com is the website. Storm season is coming. The time to check your property policy is not when the storm's in the Gulf. Too late. Do it now. If you don't know what your property policy says on your commercial insurance program, well, maybe call the Highland Insurance Group and let them look, because they've got a team of experts that are trained in the coverages. Yes, price is always important, but price kind of goes out the window on the back end when you've had a significant loss. If a hurricane comes through here, takes the roof off your building, knocks the power out for 8-10 days, can you function as an office? Can your business continue to work? If not, do you have the right business interruption limits? How did you come up with those? What's your deductible for a named storm? These are things that are critical in filing that claim after a hurricane blows through. And hopefully we have another quiet year. But if we don't, you want to make sure that your property policy reads properly. Call the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. Looking at South Carolina's offense this weekend, y'all, they're terrible. Just awful. Awful. Among SEC teams, keep in mind there are 16 of those. They are 16th in the league in batting average. They are 16th in the league in runs. They are 16th in the league in on-base percentage. They are 16th in the league in walks. They're awful. And LSU's pitching staff needs to challenge them with strikes. It starts with William Schmidt, who needs to throw his fastball more often and challenge these hitters. They are not a significant threat to hurt you in any significant way. They've been held to 3 runs or less in 12 of 21 SEC games. That is more than half. More than half the time, they score 3 or less. They are averaging 4 runs per game in SEC play. Challenge them. Talmadge LaCroix is really the only everyday player that's a threat in that lineup. He's the only everyday player in SEC play that's hitting over 247 against league pitching. He's the only player on the team that is getting on base on over a 31% clip in league play. No one in the lineup, not LaCroix, not anyone, has hit 5 home runs in SEC play. LSU's pitching staff got rocked by Mississippi State last week. LSU's offense scored 8 runs in all 3 games and lost. South Carolina is not really a threat to do that. So if I'm Jay Johnson, if I'm Nate Yeske, I'm going to trust LSU's offense to score some runs in this series. And because I trust LSU's offense to score some runs, I'm not going to try to be too fine pitching. You don't have to strike everyone out. You don't have to nibble. You don't have to be intimidated. You go after these guys with fastballs and convicted breaking pitches, and you do what every other freaking team in the league outside Missouri has done. You shove them in a locker because they're not good. Now, LSU's pitching staff has the worst ERA in the SEC. I'm well aware of that. And you could flip this segment on its head and go, LSU's pitching's not any good, Hunt. And I would have very little to combat that with other than one statistic. LSU still leads the nation in strikeouts. Now, some of that, I think, is potentially a negative for LSU because you're throwing too many power breaking balls. You're trying to miss too many bats. You're running pitch counts up too high. You're throwing too many wild pitches. You're throwing too many balls, trying to miss bats. And there's something that will probably be evaluated in the offseason to counter that. But this is a South Carolina offense that's just not very good. The only statistic that they pose a threat in is they're 4th in the league in doubles. And I find doubles to be a very indicative stat in terms of how hard you hit the ball. But they strike out a lot. They don't walk a lot. They don't get a lot of hits. They don't hit a lot of homers. They don't score a lot of runs. You kind of get the picture here. This is a team that just doesn't do much offensively. So for LSU to win 3 games this weekend, which is the goal I'm stating here, as ridiculous as that may sound, and trust me, I hear every word of it. I've watched every pitch. I saw Sacramento State. I was there last weekend, okay? I get it. But that's the only goal that's left here. You got to win all 3 games to keep any semblance of hope alive. And I told you on last week, on like Tuesday or Wednesday, like I'm not going to throw in the towel until they make me. And they haven't pried it from my cold, dead hands yet. So if you're going to go out there this weekend and you're going to win 3 games, challenge this lineup with heaters and trust that even if they do score 3 runs in an inning, the pitching staff for South Carolina is very, very willing to give that back up to an offense that's feeling okay about itself right now. You've scored 8 or more runs in the last 5 games. 3 of those were on the road against a good pitching staff. So if you missed the news earlier, LSU and South Carolina will not play tonight. That game has been postponed. They will start the series tomorrow at 1 o'clock. They will play the nightcap of the doubleheader at 6:30 tomorrow from the box. Sunday's game is unchanged. That's it for hour number 1 here on a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. We talked some football early on. If you missed it, Hunt on LSU for the LSU talk, Hunt on Saints for the Saints talk. In hour 2, we're going to talk some more football. JD Picquel will be with us coming up here in about 6 minutes, and we'll talk some more football with him next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. You hear redesigning and remodeling, and you may think dollar signs, you may think very intensive, and that's okay. Like, they can do some really intensive work at One Bath and Closets. They can do an entire bathroom for you, but that doesn't have to be what they do. They can do simple things, like a tub-to-shower conversion. Maybe you've got one of those 90s jacuzzi tubs that got installed in 1994 when your home was built, and you never use it or doesn't work anymore. David sees that all the time. Take it out. You know how much space that uses? Plenty of room for a glass walk-in shower. So take that tub out and put in a shower. It changes the entire aesthetic of your bathroom, changes the entire functionality of your bathroom, and puts value back into your home. David and his team will do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Check them out online at onebathandclosets.com. It's One Bath and Closets. Onebathandclosets.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. There are 3 more games on the NBA playoff schedule tonight, and all 3 involving a chance for teams to advance. It includes the possible ending of the run for a number 1 seed in the East. Magic hosting the Pistons, leading 3-2. Also, the Raptors are home to face the Cavaliers. Cleveland up 3-2. And the Lakers will try for a 3rd time to close out the Rockets. That series was 3-0. It's now 3-2 after 2 straight Houston wins, but ESPN's Brian Windhorst says Houston may have still blown the series in Game 3.
The Rockets were probably like 99.9% to win Game 3 when they had the ball up 6 with 30 seconds left.
Meanwhile, the Sixers and the Celtics will play a Game 7 tomorrow night. To the NHL, 3 other games in the NHL involving potential closeout situations, 2 of them on our ESPN networks. On ESPN2 at 7 Eastern, the Canadiens host the Lightning, Montreal leading that one 3-2. At 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, Buffalo's at Boston. The Sabres lead 3-2. Then coming up at ESPN at 10 Eastern, it's the Mammoth hosting the Golden Knights. Vegas up 3-2.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Monday with the second round of the NBA playoffs about to tip off, I'll tell you just how many teams left in the NBA playoffs that can actually win the title. It's on Sportsman 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, final hour of the week here on the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. One more hour to go. We'll talk some LSU baseball coming up in 30 minutes. And we also have a thought on who may be the next LSU basketball player to join the fold. Will Wade's only got 1 officially currently, so we'll talk about that coming up here a little bit later. J.D. Picquel with us every single week in football season. It's not technically football season, but to some people, it's always football season. JD happens to fall in that line. So we'll talk to him right now. He's on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. JD, how we doing?
I texted you, man, before we jumped on the show. Just it feels so good to hear your voice. It makes me think it's football season. I feel like I should be getting ready for a weekend of electric games. So great to hear your voice, man. Great to be talking some ball with you. And sounds like some good things going on in Baton Rouge last time I checked.
Yeah, I think there's some optimism here in Baton Rouge. We got surprising amount of access from Lane Kiffin over the course of the spring. I was expecting, based on his time in Oxford, not to get much at all, but we actually did. And I know you've kind of talked to some boots on the ground around here, but I was checking into one of your videos from this week talking quarterbacks, and you expressed a lot of confidence in LSU's quarterback room that is beyond Sam Levitt, also including Husan Longstreet and Landon Clark. Why the confidence in what Lane Kiffin has assembled at quarterback here in Baton Rouge?
I think it is 2 prongs. So the list you're referring to for me, top 5 quarterback rooms in the SEC, having LSU at 1.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people saw that on social media and were very quick to go to, well, Sam Levitt's not better than Trinidad Chambliss, or is Sam Levitt versus Arch Manning. And that was sort of the thing I knew was coming whenever you put out a list that's supposed to be about a position room as opposed to the position. The thing with the room with LSU to me is there is what I said about the 2 prongs. There is talent and there is depth that is quantifiable, if that makes sense. Alabama's at 5 on this list. I have no idea what we're getting from Alabama. I think they're talented, but the fact in LSU you have 3 different quarterbacks, 2 of which that have, at some regard, college football playing experience, that mattered to me when putting this together. So Landon Clark, has he played in the SEC? No, but accounting for 29 total touchdowns a year ago, still playing D1 ball, that mattered to me, to go along with Husan Longstreet, who, if Lane Kiffin and Lincoln Riley both want you on their roster, that's a pretty good dual seal of approval. And then Sam Levitt and what he is, too, in terms of, the ability we've seen from him over the course of his career. Just a lot of boxes checked. To be 3 deep, more or less, at the quarterback position, went a long way in putting them at number 1 for me.
This is a flippant way to put it, but I'm curious your thoughts. Are you just kind of defaulting to, well, Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weis are in Baton Rouge, and they got some guys who are 4- and 5-star players. They're just going to score a lot of points. Are you just defaulting to that, or do you expect some growing pains?
I expect some growing pains. I think especially with Sam Levitt not being full go during the spring, I got burned on the DJ Lagway experience a year ago and just kind of saying, he'll be fine. And then we got to the season. He was very much so not fine. Not the same as Sam Levitt, obviously, with how much ball he's played and those things. I do think it will take a second to get everything totally greased up and ready to roll. I think everyone has different growing pains, though. Someone like your boy here who didn't grow up to be 6'4", at a tall 5'11", if you will. I didn't have the same knee pain that my friends did that ended up being north of 6'4", 6'5". So I think the kinds of growing pains you have are important to keep a pulse on for LSU, but I don't think it'll be breaking out of the box first game against Clemson. We're scoring 45 without breaking a sweat.
Let's go to Clemson next, because I told you I wanted to chat about them. They've been a hot-button topic in college football, and there are some that are ranking preseason teams way too early and are leaving Clemson completely out of it. Where are you on Dabo's program as we venture into 2026?
It's really hard to have confidence in them because last year was supposed to be the year, and they fell on their face.
Yeah.
Like I was the guy a year ago that was saying, hey, this year's Clemson team is different. Dabo has finally adapted by dipping his toe in the portal and hiring some other assistants. And with that to leave you feeling empty with all those bells and whistles and the returning starting quarterback, and oh, by the way, 9 draft picks, it's really hard to get back on that bandwagon and say, no, Dabo still got it, Clemson still got it, here we go. So I am on the exact same train that you just mentioned a second ago of I don't think Clemson at this point has the chops to be considered a top 25 team in the sport. So the thing I said at the end of last season, we did a show the night of the national title game after it concluded, kind of doing a year in review, touching on Clemson. I think they are as cooked as they choose to be. Dabo Swinney, when he got the head job at Clemson, it was in a kind of chaotic time for Clemson football. It was an internal promotion. He was the interim, and when he got told he was going to be the interim guy, he went to a binder that he had been putting together over the course of his entire time as an assistant in college football. And the binder was made up of pages of, hey, when I get my shot to be a head coach, it's going to include these things. And my question is, are you willing / able to, if you're Dabo Swinney, revisiting that binder and tearing out some pages and saying, hey, I was wrong on this. I know this binder got me to the top of the college football world, but I got to tear this page, that page, this other page out and add some new pages. It takes a lot to do that, and that's my question. I think he's a great motivator. I think he's obviously a great coach. Otherwise, he wouldn't have 2 national championships. But the same question of will you and can you adapt is remaining unanswered.
JD Picquel is our guest, part of the On3 team. You can catch him on The Hard Count on YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts as well. I want to stay on Clemson, but big picture before we get to some SEC storylines. Lane Kiffin talked about scheduling on Monday and talked about how you're not really given credit for playing a difficult schedule if you lose games. And you look at what he did at Ole Miss for that Power 5 non-conference game that the SEC mandates. He played Wake Forest. He played bad Georgia Tech teams. He played Washington State last year. How do you feel about that in terms of the selection committee putting together a schedule to try to make the playoffs, big-time college football games, what's good for the sport? Because LSU is going to get Clemson in opening weekend. My contention is as long as Lane Kiffin's here, that ain't happening anymore because he didn't put this one on the schedule, and it sounds like he'd rather go play Washington State and Boston College.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, it sucks because we love seeing LSU play Clemson and Ohio State play Texas. But if it's your job to go win football games and put your team in the college football playoff as consistently as possible, I think he's saying the quiet part out loud and what's kind of become more of the out loud part out loud. Like, I bet what he wanted to say is, hey, give us Penn State's schedule, where you play USC, Washington, and Michigan, and those are the only 3 games on the schedule that really should hold a candle to you from a roster perspective. Like, that's the schedule I want if I'm Lane Kiffin. And it'd be different if, to what he said, it'd be different if we had a governing body in the selection committee that was able to assess the value of a loss and what went into that loss versus, just blowing the doors off everybody else. I 100% agree with where he's coming from. And again, as someone who enjoys these non-conference games, it's a real bummer, but if it's your job to win games and be in the postseason, I'd probably follow the exact same blueprint.
All right, let's talk about a couple of SEC programs. One, where Lane Kiffin just left, Ole Miss, that we just mentioned. How do you feel about the Pete Golding era as we embark on that without Lane Kiffin, without Charlie Weiss, but with that big Grove collective behind him?
Yeah, Hunt, my mentions are lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, they're fired up.
Oxford, which, what are you going to do? Cost of doing business, I suppose. My thought process there is like, I think Trinidad Chambliss might be the best returning quarterback in all of college football. Like that is a conversation that is legitimate, and I think you can have with any reasonable person that covers the sport. Now, with that being said, I do wonder a little bit, hey, what's it like, Ole Miss, when they see you coming? And what's it like when we know about Trinidad Chambliss before the month of November? That, to me, is a really interesting dynamic in play. Because last year, it felt like it was such a, not carefree Ole Miss team and carefree Trinidad Chambliss, but it was a team that you could tell that they didn't know they were supposed to be nervous in those different spots. Like they were just out there letting it rip. That's kind of an unquantifiable thing to try to assess in May, but I do think it's something that was pretty instrumental in how good Ole Miss was last season. Now it's like Trinidad's going to be on all the Heisman hot boards, and everyone's talking about Ole Miss getting back to the playoff. I like Pete Golding as a coach. I don't know if I like him as a head coach. So you got to show me the defense is fixed and that Trinidad Chambliss can do it with everyone watching, as well as, Kewan Lacey being in the backfield probably helps. But my point in all this is, like Ole Miss, I don't think I like them nearly as much as the rest of the public does coming out of last season and Trinidad coming back.
Saw Vegas over under at 8.5, so there's probably a lot of folks that are going to jump on the over there. We'll see if that pays or not. The last program I want to talk about is Alabama. There was always going to be somebody that was going to follow Nick Saban. Kalen DeBoer is that guy. Now, he's had some success in the last couple of years, made the playoff this past year, but when you look at the numbers, like he has lost 8 games in 2 years, and he got a huge contract extension. How do you feel about all of the things that go into that?
So I saw the contract extension on social media, and initial jerk reaction is like, what the heck? Why? Yeah. You just got your brakes beat off in the Rose Bowl. Like, it didn't compute to me. The longer I sat with it and the more I looked into it, it's an extension of a couple of years. I think it's like a 2-year extension, and it only pays him, I say only, it's a $2.5 million raise. So I know like that the headline is 7 years, one of the highest paid coaches in the sport, which is true. But when you dig deeper, it's like he was probably making a good chunk of change before that anyway, and that extra 2-year extension isn't too bad. The thing that's curious to me here, Hunt, was, hey, what's the buyout if he wants to leave, and what's the buyout if Alabama wants to fire him? The poaching fee for Kalen DeBoer was darn near doubled.
Yeah.
The fee for Alabama to fire him was pretty sizable, but I'm looking at that $56 or so million that it would be to fire him post 2027, and I'm like, that's a lot of money. But LSU did that for Brian Kelly. Like Penn State essentially committed to doing that for James Franklin. So my take is this is Alabama saying, hey, Kalen DeBoer, you had an improvement. You made it to the playoff. We believe in you, but don't mistake we believe in you as we're going to be patient with you. I think it's still very much so. If we don't have success this year, it's going to be kind of uncomfortable going into 2027. I do think he's safe through this year. I don't think that was ever truly up for debate, but it's definitely not now, with $67.5 million being the tag that man would have to pay to get him out of Tuscaloosa. But I think past this year, it's still on the table for things to get weird if they underachieve these upcoming seasons.
JD, I don't know if you're aware of this, but around here, June is baseball season. It's College World Series season. That's not going to be the case this year. So football season may start up a little bit earlier around these parts. We'll be reaching out here in the coming months.
You say the word, man. Appreciate you. This was it's kind of like almost like relapsing, we've been off for so long, and now I'm gonna be having the fix every Wednesday. Appreciate you, man.
We'll give you a call, JD. Appreciate it, man. Have a good week. That is JD Picquel, host of the Hard Count on 3 Sports. You can find him wherever you find your podcasts, on Twitter at JD Picquel. It's just interesting storylines from a national perspective. That Ole Miss thing is going to be so fascinating, y'all. So fascinating. Because they feel really good about things in Oxford right now. And I think that's largely a coping mechanism. Like, the guy who brought us to heights we hadn't seen since the 60s is gone. But really what mattered was the collective and the defensive coach that did all the recruiting. Like this is really the operation. He was just like kind of part of it. And maybe that's true. Maybe they're right. And a lot of people on the outside, like JD, are dead wrong. And maybe everyone else is right, and it's going to feel like a black hole in Oxford pretty quickly. I don't know. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle, but you can't suggest it's not fascinating. And, of course, that game that LSU plays in Oxford coming up in September will be maybe the game of the year in terms of interest from the outside, maybe the game of the year. I mean, yeah, Ohio State's going to Texas. Like, that's a pretty big deal. But this is it's going to be a pretty big deal when LSU goes to Oxford coming up in September. We're chugging along here on a Friday show. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish, and Shrimp. When we come back, is LSU gaining on a new basketball player that they might get from away from North Carolina? And where's he coming from? I looked into this guy earlier today. This is a little bit wild. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Maybe you're knocking off of work right now or in the coming hours. Weekend's here. Love to play some golf on the weekend, right? Probably not a good weekend for that. Been raining all day. Going to keep raining. By the time you get out there tomorrow, going to be raining. Maybe you play some indoor golf. Play at Swing Easy Golf Club. Go check them out on Seagan at Perkins. Play Pebble Beach. Play TPC Sawgrass. Challenge yourself on the Island Green. Bring some friends. Go by yourself. It's a different way to play golf. They've got individual bays with comfortable seating. You can bring an ice chest in there. You fire up the television. Play some golf. Work on your game on the driving range setting. All in the comfort of the indoor while it's raining outside. It's a great, great place to go enjoy some golf on the weekend when it's bad weather. And if you don't have 5 hours, go play around in 1 hour on the simulator. It's Swing Easy Golf Club, Seagan at Perkins, or online at swingeasygcbr.com, swingeasygcbr.com.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. Trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana propane dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Our Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. We're going to talk some hoops. Who could LSU's next roster piece be under Will Wade? But first, let me remind you of my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Just a quick drive from here in Baton Rouge. You're north of town, and in Scotlandville and Baker and Zachary, it's even shorter. And if you're up in the Felicianas or Point Capee, right there. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you're looking for a new SUV for that family road trip that's coming up this summer, they've got your Chevy Suburbans, they've got your Chevy Tahoes, they've got your GMC Yukons and Denali's, and happy to let you take a test drive there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You're going to have a wonderful buying experience there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. The customer service is phenomenal. They're going to make sure you're taken care of, and they're going to make sure you're taken care of after the sale as well. That's what's made the Fabry family successful and part of our community here in Baton Rouge for over 35 years. You can trust the Fabry family, and you can trust them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Start your buying process online at FabryChevrolet.com. It's FabryChevrolet.com. The entire inventory is right there at FabryChevrolet.com. All right, I'm going to do this in two pieces here because I think there are two relevant talking points to this segment. The first is that it appears Will Wade is gaining on his second player. They got Mo Diabate from Kentucky, who comes in as a 6'7" hustle guy, plays a lot of defense, a high percentage shooter because a lot of his scoring is cleanup stuff around the bucket and within 10 feet. He's not a great shooter, not a great free throw shooter, but a good glue guy, a good defensive piece, a veteran piece, a guy that's been in the tournament 4 straight years, a guy that makes a lot of sense to bring in as a piece to your puzzle. That's what you got in Mo Diabate. The second piece, according to multiple reports from the United States and from Italy, is Saliu Niang from Italy. Now, Saliu Niang is an interesting story. He was born in Senegal, and at the age of 2, moved to Italy. And he began playing in youth leagues and grew and developed. And so all of a sudden, as a 17-year-old, he is playing professional basketball in Italy. That's in 2004. He's played 5 years of professional basketball in Italy, and his latest stop was at Virtus Bologna, which apparently is a powerhouse. They won the championship this past year. Prior to this past year, he was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers 58th overall. It was a sign and stash deal in Italy for the Cavs. But now he's made the decision after being drafted last summer and playing a year for Virtus Bologna that he's going to play in college next year. So what does he bring? What is he? Well, the international scouts love this guy. Fran Fraschilla is all over him. The international NBA analysts are all over him. They thought it was a great pick by Cleveland. They think he can be a really good NBA player. And he's 22 years old. He will turn 22 in 2 weeks. I watched some tape on him. He's 6'6". He plays really hard. He runs really fast. He's an elite athlete that can get well above the rim. He can block shots. He can throw down alley-oops. He can get out in transition. He can slash and finish above bigs. He is a great leaper and hustler on the outside. I think he shoots it okay. Of course, I'm watching a highlight tape, so all I get is the makes. It's not a quick release. It's more of a set shot from a 6'6" frame, but he is immensely talented. And he's been in the pro ranks for 5 years, and he's filled out, and the NBA scouts really like him. This is a guy that would provide more offense than Mo Diabate. I'm not confident he would be a great shot creator, but when I watch him on tape, he does a couple things. He knocks down some threes, and he's got a great feel for where he is on the floor. And a lot of times, now this is professional basketball he's playing, but a lot of times he finds the open spot on the floor, makes a quality cut, and he catches the ball on the run heading towards the rim a ton, and he finishes. He finishes with dunks. He finishes with layups. He finishes athletically around bigs, over guards. He's a big-time talent, and I think would be a scoring force in the college game if surrounded by a couple of distributors who could find him with his elite sense of how he plays and where he is on the floor. There's a ton to like about Saliu Niang, a ton to like. And I think if LSU brings him in, that's a great addition to this team. North Carolina has been heavily involved in this process. It appears that LSU is going to beat them out. There are dollar figures flying all over Twitter. I don't know what the ultimate dollar figure is going to be. That's for Will Wade and his team to figure out over there. But this is a great addition if they can make it happen, and it sounds like it's really close to the finish line. That's one piece to this, right? His story, his game, his fit, LSU bringing him in. Absolutely great. Here's the other piece to this, and I'm just going to be candid, frank, tell you how I really feel about this. This is where we are. This is where college basketball is. You're taking a 22-year-old with 5 years of professional basketball experience and a year removed from being an NBA draft pick and putting him in his first year of college eligibility. Now, he would be a one and done, but that's where we are. Like, I'm not even that concerned about the money. It's not my money. Like, I want LSU to allocate its resources properly between all the sports. I want LSU to succeed. I love the LSU basketball program. I want them to be awesome. I want them to get really good players. But I'm not going to throw blindfolds on here and shake a purple and gold pom-pom and suggest that this makes a lot of sense for collegiate athletics. It just doesn't to me. It's a me thing. But, like, what is Saliu Niang getting out of Psychology 1002 here? This is a pro basketball player that's just going to play college basketball because the paycheck's bigger. And again, that's not like a fundamental flaw in our society, in our sports. But I look at the LSU basketball team as a group of players who go to school at LSU, not a group of mercenary students that were pros. It's just like the whole thing is bizarre because we can't put any rules in place. Everything that happens in collegiate athletics, we go, well, can we take this to court? Where are the attorneys? Like, that's the whole thing is. It's not Saliu Niang's fault. It's not Will Wade's fault. It might be my fault for having a visceral reaction to it. I'm willing to admit that. But, like, when I start looking at prospects for LSU's basketball team, the fact that I'm studying film from Basket Serie A Liga, what are we doing? I think to me, ultimately, as I give it thought, I'm not offended by it. I'm not mortified by it. I'm not grossed out by it. I'm almost amused that this is where we allowed this thing to run to. We lost control at some point, and it's just a circus. It's like, well, we don't have any players, so what do? Well, what about the G League? Do they have any guys that are making money? What about Europe? Where are all their players? No, they don't have college. No, not colleges. The pros over there. Like, what are they doing? Well, who got drafted last year that's not in the playoffs right now? Can we tap into that? Like, you just like it's a lot. It's a lot. And I don't know how good this guy is. Everyone thinks he's really good. And I promise you, if he signs with LSU, whether he's making $150 or $5 million, when he gets on the floor against Georgia next year in February, I'll be locked in because that's how it works. And I've always said that. No matter what issues I may have with college athletics, conference realignment, transfer portal, coaching buyouts, NIL, pros to college eligibility concerns, Mississippi courthouses, Trinidad Chambliss tonsillitis, whatever's going on, I don't care. Once they kick it off, once they tip it off, once they throw the first pitch, I don't care. I've always said that. I came back into this very chair after the Sugar Bowl and I said, this whole thing's a circus, that my football coach was their football coach and they're still playing and he's coaching my team, and then half his staff is supposed to be in Baton Rouge and they're in Oxford. The whole thing was absurd. But I got in the Superdome for 4 hours and it was awesome. And so ultimately, that's really all that's going to matter. But I can sit here on a May, now that we're on May 1st, on a May Friday at my desk and start doing some research on LSU's potential newest ad and just start chuckling at my desk going, what is going on? This wasn't really the point. But then again, if you came up and said, well, what is the point? I don't have a great answer for you. I just know that this is funny to me. So we'll see if they get Sally Niang. If they do, I think he's probably pretty good. Then they got to go get 12 more players. We'll see where they get those players from. How you feeling about it, Jordan? You're a basketball guy. I mean,
listen, man. College ball is kind of a joke at this point because, I hate to say it because everybody was making fun of Alabama and Baylor, the Najee guy and Charles Bediako, that whole fiasco. But then everybody's going to do exactly what they were doing this season coming up. So, when you have a need where you need 12 guys and knowing that all 12 are not going to get playing time, so some guys are going to have to bite that bullet, you're going to have to just grab some guys that just want to come play college basketball overseas and all that. I just think that I was never no high prospect in basketball and all this, so I can't relate to him. But as an 18-year-old that has, expectations of playing on the next level, it's kind of for what? These guys are just going to grab a 22-year-old, 23-year-old that can plug and play immediately. Then you're 18-year-old that went behind the ears.
LSU's not going to have a freshman next year. I mean, they might. There's one that's signed with NC State that might flip. But they probably won't have a freshman.
And that's crazy. Think about that. Think about telling yourself that maybe 6 years ago that LSU is going to go to season with no freshmen and they're going to run it with these random guys.
And then they'll probably have to go get 11 more guys the next year.
Thank you. It's an endless cycle that is you're the hamster on the wheel.
Whatever. I hope they beat Kentucky
next year. Just
got to
watch ball.
Yep. Come back. We got 30 minutes to go. It's on Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Oxford's got an amazing opportunity coming up in 2 weeks. May 16th. Mark your calendars. May 16th. If you've got a youth athlete that is going to need a physical for the upcoming athletic and academic year, they are doing an event 8 to 1 from Elite over on Burbank, 5444 Burbank Drive, where you can come and get a no-cost physical. You got to bring your physical form with a parent or guardian's signature and go see him at Elite on Burbank between 8 and 1 on May 16th. If your athlete's 6th grade through 12th grade, you can get that no-cost physical. So if you need a physical to participate in sports moving forward, you can do that courtesy of our friends at Oxford. Again, it's Saturday, May 16th, so in 2 weeks, 8 to 1 at Elite, 5444 Burbank Drive. Bring your physical form signed and bring a parent or guardian, and you can get that no-cost physical to make sure that your student-athlete is able to compete in sports in the upcoming year. Incredible thing. Oxford's always so invested and so involved with our youth sports here in South Louisiana and throughout the Baton Rouge area. So go by and see them. It's our friends at Oxford.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
I hope that work week's in the rearview mirror for you. If not, we're going to get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Matt's going to follow us up on after further review until 6 o'clock. We're here for another 20 minutes or so. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. If you got a catering event, whether it's a graduation party that's coming up, whether it's a birthday party that's coming up, maybe you're just feeding the office, maybe you got a family reunion that's coming up in the end of the springtime, Corks loves to cater. They're happy to do it for you. You can get those big jumbo trays of jumbo Gulf shrimp. You can get those big trays of crispy fried catfish, the shoestring fries. They're also happy to help you out with all your honey butter rolls, all the sauces that you may like. You can check out their catering menu online at corksfishandshrimp.com. They love to do catering events, so if you've got one coming up and you haven't figured out what you're going to do from a food perspective, leave the cooking to the folks at Corks. Check them out online at corksfishandshrimp.com. All right, we've talked a little LSU in South Carolina over the course of the show. I mean, I think in a general 7th week of SEC play that we would do more of that this time of year, but we are where we are. So we talked a little LSU football in the first hour. We talked a lot of Saints football in the first hour. We talked some SEC football at the top of this hour, and we've mixed in some basketball. I've been a little bit sparse with the baseball talk just because there's just not a lot to opine about this team. They've lost 9 games in a row. This is the weekend where it's put up or shut up. If you lose 2 out of 3 this weekend, the season's over outside of Hoover. No matter what you do in Athens or against Florida at home, you're toast. Period. So you got to go win all 3 games. And one of the things LSU is going to have to do to win these 3 games is swing the bats like they did in Starkville. I sat there in that press box for 3 days, and outside of really fine work from Jack Bauer, who's an immense talent from Mississippi State, where he really tied LSU up for the better part of 4 innings on Saturday. Outside of that, they really did a good job putting at-bats together. They did a good job of hitting the ball over the fence when they got mistakes. Cerna had a big homer. Yaman had a big homer. Aaron Beatty hit a couple long balls. Milam crushed one down the line that went out. Like, they put some good power swings on the ball. William Patrick did a good job dropping a couple bunts down. I thought you saw some backside hits that were really quality. Kate Aaron Beatty had one of those. You saw some good at-bats, and a lot of them come from young players on this team. Jack Ruckert has a hit in I think 3 of the last 4 games and had a couple extra base hits on Tuesday. You're starting to see some things offensively from the team. They're starting to play a little bit freer, and some of the younger guys are starting to figure some things out. Now, you've got to have Curiel do his thing. You've got to have Milam have quality at-bats. You need that. And we'll see if John Pearson or Chris Stanfield can give you anything. Stanfield was probably closer over the weekend. That's the word we got from Jay Johnson. But this is not a pitching staff at South Carolina that should be able to shut you down. And you're not going to be able, even though South Carolina's offense is terrible, you're not going to be able to count on your pitching staff to help you win a game 3-2. Like, you're going to have to go out there and get 6, 7, 10, 12 runs in games to win them. I'm hopeful that when Schmidt goes out there, you only need 6, but you're probably going to need 6. 3 is not going to get it. I'm hopeful that you can go out there behind Paz and take some stuff forward with him and maybe win a game with 5 or 6 runs. But the fact of the matter is it may take 9, and you got to go do that. This is a team that will allow it, I promise. And I think based on the way that they've played the last week and a half, it's realistic. My problem here is that every time I do this, well, they've done this better for 5 games. Well, they've done this better for 7 games. Well, this guy's done this for 4 straight outings. And then they revert back. I think about, well, in Oxford, you did a pretty good job offensively. You got leads in some of those games. You fought back in the last game and scored 7 in the 7th. Like, you did some things. So that's good. And then you come back against Texas A&M, and I'm going, well, Ole Miss's pitching staff's good. So A&M's pitching staff's not good. You should hit them. And they didn't. But in that weekend, the pitching stepped up, especially in the last game. You held a potent Texas A&M offense to 5 runs. Devin Sheeran, great job. So you go to Starkville and you go, well, maybe the pitching will step up like they did last weekend. And then you fall flat on your face and you can't get anybody out for 3 games. So I can sit here and say, well, they've hit for the last week and a half. Nice job. And they're liable to just fall flat on their face this weekend and not hit, because that's kind of been the MO. I think it would be easier to digest if there was a problem that you just could not get fixed and it was the thing that brought everything down. Our pitching staff leads the SEC in walks, and we can't get rid of that. Well, we hit a lot. Our defense has been great. Our number 1 starter's been awesome, but beyond him, everybody walks people, and that's why we're losing games. That'd be one thing. Seems fixable moving forward. It'd be another thing if, well, we don't hit for any power, and so that hurts us. We do play some small ball. We pitch it great. We play good defense. We just don't hit for any power, and that's the problem. Okay, well, you can try to play around that. You can play small ball. You can steal more. You can lean on your pitching staff. It'd be one thing if, well, we don't play any defense. We hit a ton of homers. We lead the league in homers. We strike out a lot of guys. We've got some table setters. We're scoring 8 runs a game, but we just don't play any defense. If you have one problem, like, you can try to mask it some way. But when you have a problem everywhere and the problems keep popping up other places, it's just not fixable. You can't fix that. Well, we got this worked out, but here's this issue. And well, we got that taken care of, and oh, now this is back. That is what this team is. And that's the most frustrating thing, because you can't fix everything. You can play around one thing. If your defense stinks, play for more strikeouts. If you can't hit home runs, bunt and steal. If you're walking too many guys, well, throw more fastballs and try to put it in play. Like, there are things you can do if you have one issue. When you have 4 issues, you can't fix them all. And it was a fundamental flaw in the roster building. Not athletic enough on the infield. Not enough guys who use the backside of the field on offense. Not enough pitchers who throw strikes. Not enough starters who eat innings. You get the picture. Like, that's what you've been dealing with. So you got to go out there and win 3 games. And you got to hope that enough lines up for 3 games that you can make it interesting next week and you go to Athens. Because Georgia's RPI is in the top 20 in their road games. And, you sweep this weekend, you can try to make things interesting. But I'm not here to try to sell you that bill of goods. I'm really not. I'm going to watch, but I'm not here to sell you that bill of goods. That's our last look at baseball. We got one more order of business. It is, of course, take it or leave it. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Neil and Melissa have been rocking and rolling for 40 years at Boudreaux's Electrical. Their son, Justin, does an awesome job as well. Sat down with him earlier this week. Be prepared for the next power outage, whether that's because of a nasty afternoon thunderstorm that rolls through and knocks out your neighborhood for 4 hours. That's a nuisance. Whether it's a hurricane that comes through and knocks the neighborhood out and the city out for a week. Whether it's just a power line that it's run into by a car or it's too hot and you got electrical issues. It's South Louisiana. We know we have electrical problems. You can solve yours with a Generac home standby generator from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Call them at 985-397-1562, 985-397-1562, or at Gonzales, 225-300-9389. It could be your home, maybe your business. If you need your electricity on to function in a business, get Boudreaux's Electrical to come in and install that Generac home standby generator at your business. It can be ready to go for you in a moment's notice. It's Boudreaux's Electrical. Find them online, boudreauxelectrical.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Wrapping things up here on a Friday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show. I was thinking about Monday's show earlier today. Like, we got a baseball team on the brink. We got a basketball team that's not signing anybody.
Well, I mean, they're kind of a little old, but they're coming in.
And it's truly now the football offseason. We got no draft. We got no spring football. Now, the rookie minicamp is upcoming.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
But like the NFL never truly gone. But like when you talk about things that are like happening right this very second that we're in, like it's Mondays when you phased out of like the stuff. Like there's a point there in the spring where you're just jammed. You got spring football, you got baseball, basketball's in March Madness or portals open or what. Like you got stuff that's going on. Monday, when your baseball team is 7-17, maybe like you got to get creative.
It's gonna get a little rough.
We'll get creative on Monday, but we'll see how things go over the weekend at the box. We talked about it a good bit, and we'll leave that in the rearview mirror. For now, let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so the Browns are back in the news. So Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam and family marked a significant milestone today with the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Dome Stadium scheduled to open in 2029. But it's been highly controversial because it's a Dome Stadium in the AFC North, so you can understand why a lot of AFC North divisional teams have been slandering the Browns for putting a Dome Stadium in their division. So let the Browns play outside. Take it or leave it.
Leave it.
Leave it alone.
I'll tell you what, Steelers, Ravens, and Bengals fans are not going to like me very much when I'm the commissioner of the NFL and I make $65 million a year and I'm a member at Augusta National like Roger Goodell. You're all building domes because we're not playing in the snow like clowns. We're not playing in the rain. We're not playing when it's 4 degrees outside, the wind chill 0. Sorry, Packers. We're doming it up. We're doming everybody. That's when I'm the commissioner.
That's like
we're not playing in the snow. It does not look cool. It's dumb. You can't see anything. You can't get your footing. You can't throw the ball. We're trying to play the most consequential games of the year. Nobody can feel their face. It's canceled. We're all building domes.
Man, the Packers in a dome, that's like the league might just explode.
Well, sorry. I'm the commissioner. I get $65 million a year, and you can try to find me, but you can't because I'm in Augusta. No cell phones allowed.
Okay. So, all right. So it happened again last night in NBA where a team is getting blown out in an elimination game and somebody on the losing team starts a fight and gets ejected. Well, the Knicks were putting the fear of God into the Hawks when Dyson Daniels elbowed Mitchell Robinson, causing a fight, of course. So bad sportsmanship and blowouts getting kicked out early. Take it or leave it.
I mean, I'm going to leave it. Just chill out. You get beat by 50. It happens.
Yeah.
You're going to Jamaica the next day.
Literally.
So who cares?
Rich.
Yeah.
You're rich and you get to travel. Like,
I mean, you should care. I hope you care about losing, but you can't throw elbows at people because you're down 50 points at halftime. Maybe the solution would be don't give up 80 before the break.
Yeah.
That would be a great solution in my eyes.
I literally thought it was a glitch when I checked my phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the game on. I'm like, wait, excuse me? They have 20 points and it's the end of the second quarter?
Knicks fans in that game, because I saw some people tweeting online, they're like Knicks fans, because they got a lot of like public figures that are Knicks fans and whatever. They're like, I've never like seen a game that was this relaxing. And it made me think of when LSU beat Oklahoma by 1,000 in the semifinal.
Yeah. Oh my God.
When Burrow
Justin
threw
Jefferson, yes.
And it was like the end of the second quarter, and I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. There's no stress whatsoever. We score a touchdown every 40 seconds.
Literally.
Like it was great. And there's so rarely in that big a spot a rocking chair game like that.
Yes.
You gotta love it.
All right, so we talked about earlier this week with Brendan Sorsby, right? Well, the numbers came out. So according to Pete Nakos, since 2022, Sorsby placed over 10K bets, and at one point he averaged 20 bets per day. He plays bets across multiple states and on different gambling apps. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say Sorsby is pretty much cooked. Take it or leave it.
I would take it. It's hard to imagine you're going to let him have eligibility back. He's betting on games that involve his team. He's betting a bunch of times a day. Like, I think
20 times a day.
And it's possible. I heard some people say he was going to like major league games and betting on the next pitch, going on the next pitch. Like, you rack up bets pretty quickly when you're betting on the next pitch. And who knows if he's betting $1 or $2 and like $22 bets is not that big a deal. That's $40.
Was it the Indian, I was like calling them Indians, the Guardians, the pitcher that was getting the Manuel Clase? Yes.
Clase was. But I mean, look, delete the apps, man. He's toast. He's not going to play in college anymore. It doesn't preclude him, I don't think, for playing in the NFL, but he's not going to be playing in college.
Well, that's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, that's it for us this week. Our Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Check them out online, corksfishandshrimp.com. I was checking my fantasy golf. My guy, Siwoo Kim, was soaring up the leaderboard, and then I didn't see him. Double bogey on the last hole. Probably hit it in the water on the Big Blue Monster. We don't like that at all. But if you missed any of the show today, it was not about golf. It was about LSU baseball and LSU football and Saints football and SEC football and LSU basketball. You can catch that on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Subscribe to the show. We always appreciate that. Hunt on LSU is all LSU, obviously. Hunt on Saints, all Saints. Get us right there. And, of course, you can always check us out on LouisianaSports.net for free. That's it for us. Excited about Monday's show. We're going to figure out what LSU's baseball situation is, and maybe Will Wade's got some players. We'll talk about it Monday at 1 o'clock. Matt's about to drive you home on After Further View. Everybody have a safe and wonderful, try to stay dry this weekend. We'll see you Monday.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. They're online at FABT.com, but you don't have to go online to interact with First American Bank and Trust. You certainly can. But just stop by. They got 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. No matter where you are, there's a branch near you. If you've got a business, you need a commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. If you looking for the house of your dreams and need a loan, First American Bank and Trust. Why do business with them? Well, they're local. They've been in Southeast Louisiana for 116 years. 25 locations means they've got the resources to back you, and they've got the personal touch. Every decision that's made about your commercial loan, about your personal loan, is made right here in Southeast Louisiana. It's not made in Atlanta. It's not made in San Francisco. It's made right here. Whether you're in Tangipahoa, St. Tammany, Lafourche, Terrebonne, Hammond, over in Dutchtown, it's First American Bank and Trust. FABT.com, First American Bank and Trust.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters